Hi guys, this is my note about international criminal law. So, international criminal law is a special area of the law because it's at the nexus of multiple laws. A nation has its own criminal law, in our case, Canadian Criminal Code. We have our own domestic procedural law of how our criminal justice system operates. Sorry. Again, how our criminal justice system operates, how trials work, what rights do individuals have in our system, how are they treated, again, after the trial, again, is the focus rehabilitation, punishment in jails and prisons, or is capital punishment an issue? And then there's international law. So I talked about in a previous note the difficulty of multiple nations deciding on international law, and especially when these nations have vastly different criminal justice systems. So what type of crimes are going to prosecuted in international criminal courts? The big ones, substantial ones: war crimes, genocide, terrorist acts, crimes of aggression. That's where you declare war on your neighbor. What are the aims of international criminal law? To secure prosecution of serious crimes. No one should escape punishment. No one is above the law. But often people in certain countries, they're protected. They don't, again, the people of the country don't believe that particular person is actually a criminal. Former president of Yugoslavia, Slobodan Milosevic, was been prosecuted for war crimes and crimes against humanity, but he needed to be extradited out of the former Yugoslavia in order to face punishment. Again, the protection of human rights, making sure all people around the world are treated with dignity and respect, even if, again, civil rights and human rights laws differ from country to country. So, other things to consider. These crimes have to be international in nature, so committed in several areas and states, or it's a common threat to several areas or states. So it's a threat to peace and stability. So it's something is happening that is destabilizing a region. Again, even if it is located just within that country, it could impact its neighbors. So the treatment of the Rohingya Muslim group in Burma. Again, there are nations around it that have large Muslim populations, and the Rohingya are a Muslim minority in Burma. So again, their treatment and kind of the genocide that they're facing can impact their neighboring states. Okay, war crimes. So the humanitarian restrictions of warfare, and that one seems almost counterintuitive to people, where two nations are at war. Sometimes the job is to kill the enemy soldier. But there are still rules, and those rules are detailed in the Geneva Conventions. So again, you have to take care of wounded or sick enemy soldiers. You need to rescue enemy members of a navy if their ship is sinking. There are rules to how you treat prisoners of war. And there are a lot of rules about how you treat civilians in enemy nations. So the grave breaches, like when, especially civilians are targeted, like there is an obligation of that nation to extradite and to punish the people that have targeted civilians or harmed fellow enemy soldiers that should have been protected by the Geneva Conventions. Genocides. So again, the definition is the purpose is to destroy partly or totally a group mentioned in the convention. So again, it can be an act directed against a group of people, national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. So the methods can be killing, causing serious bodily harm or mental harm, inflicting on conditions of life, again, like how they live, measures intended to prevent births. Sometimes these can be forced sterilizations, and transferring of children of a group to another group. So a lot of people believe, again, this is an example of a Canadian genocide with the removal of Indigenous children and forcing them to live within a residential school. Again, where are these crimes prosecuted? So the International Criminal Court. So it was created by an international treaty called the Rome Statute. And it's important to realize some of these only came into effect and started working in 1998. So it has jurisdiction for crimes committed after the statute came into force. It only has jurisdiction over people 18 and older. And national jurisdiction is always primary. It is always the job of that particular country to prosecute offenders of, again, crimes that happen within that country. It's only when they don't, the ICC will step in. When, again, there's national courts are unwilling or unable to prosecute. So if you have any questions about the international law or international criminal court, again, Google Classroom, email, or Google Meet. Have a good day, guys.